Photosynthesis! We're not going to look too specifically at all the parts of photosynthesis. We're looking at the overall picture and how plants do the things. So, photosynthesis, the definition, we are converting solar energy into chemical energy, which is sugar or glucose in this case. Remember from the notes we did yesterday that plants can't create energy, nobody can, but they can change it. So they can change solar energy from the sun into sugars. Photosynthesis can be done by things called autotrophs. Auto means self, troph is food, so self-food, self-feeder. This is plants mostly, but also some algae and some bacteria can do that too. So let's focus on plants. Inside of a plant cell, we have things called chloroplasts. In Bio B, I think it is, you're going to see more about the cells and all the organelles, but I think you've learned them before. Chloroplasts are structures that have stacks of things inside of them. These things look like pancake stacks. The pancake stacks, are where the action's going to happen. Those things are called thylakoids. Inside of those pancake stacks, in this case, all these green dots are individual chloroplasts. Inside of chloroplasts, we have a molecule called chlorophyll, which looks like this if you want to know. You don't have to remember that structure. She's like, wow, that's complicated. We're going to move on. Chlorophyll is a pigment that grabs the sunlight energy. So the chlorophyll is physically how it collects that energy from the sun. What's a pigment? In general, a pigment is a molecule that either absorbs or reflects light. Plants have two of them. They're both the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. But chlorophyll absorbs all the colors except green. It reflects green. So when we see a plant that has chloroplasts, it looks green because it's reflecting the green back into our eyes. But another example of a pigment would be like if you're wearing red, then, if you're wearing red, then your shirt is reflecting red light and we see red. That energy gets transferred into the chlorophyll molecule, so it's kind of absorbing those electrons, all the energy coming in from the sun. So overall, we don't need to know the steps to what happens, but you should know what's going in and what's coming out. What's going in is carbon dioxide, water, and what's coming out is glucose, oxygen. Sometimes you'll see sunlight written on the side of the arrow like this. Sometimes you'll see it kind of over top of the arrow because light is not really a molecule, so the chemistry people will get kind of angry if you put light with the molecules. So sometimes it's written like this one, sometimes it's written like this one. By the way, on your notes I gave you the symbols, you have to write out the words. CO2, carbon dioxide. There are 6 of them, that's what that 6 means in front. H2O, water. In a chemical reaction, these things on the left side are the things going in. The things on the right side of the arrow are what's coming out. C6H12O6 is glucose. That's a carbohydrate. And 6 oxygens. If you can remember, carbon dioxide, water, go in, glucose, oxygen, come out, you're good. So after a plant makes these things, then what happens to like the glucose and oxygen? Well, the oxygen goes off into the air. It's the oxygen we breathe. But the glucose gets sent to a different organelle called the mitochondria, which you might have heard of, and it makes ATP. That's cellular respiration that we're going to see next week. It's very similar, but it's the thing that mitochondria do to make energy. So if you're not a plant, if you need to make energy, then you can just eat plants. You take the glucose they made and you can do the same thing with your mitochondria. If you are a plant, some of that glucose can be combined to make proteins and other molecules. So really, as long as a plant has the products of photosynthesis, the glucose, and they have minerals and other elements in their cells, they can make whatever they need. Again, the big takeaway from photosynthesis. First of all, you should know who can do photosynthesis and who cannot. You should know what a chloroplast is and what chlorophyll is, what the difference is between them. And you should know like what's going in and what's coming out. Let's make the secret word glucose because it's pretty important. And that's about it for today. We'll do some more with photosynthesis over the next few days. See you next time.